The American Dream
avec le génie français.
Hi everyone. We are happy today to receive Alfred Vericel, a serial and successful entrepreneur, an investor, and an ambassador of the French Tech here in Los Angeles. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure, Nathanael.
In 2000, you created the Best of Media Group. Can you tell us what was the idea then?
I just sold before Best of Media Group my first company, which was a platform, an intermediation platform, and my goal was to. I understood on that first company that the content was a good way to get more sales. So just wanted to produce content to get sales.
So then you started that group, and in 2013 you merged that group with the Tech Media Group.
Absolutely. So we started in France. We had a European development and US development, and we've been very, very successful in the US. So we became number 3 in the world, and we merged with the number 4, which was Tech Media, and the goal was to take over the leadership of CNET.
With Purch, which today reach over 100 million unique users a month.
Yeah.
That's quite a lot.
And
can you tell us a bit more about Purch and what is the vision for the company?
Yeah, so Purch took over the leadership. So again, the merge of Best of Media and Tech Media became Purch. We raised after that another $130 million and to consolidate the vertical and to take over the leadership to CNET, which is done, and in a very and the vision, online media changed a lot, and the way you monetize content changed a lot too. So we've been through tons of revolution, and the name of Purch comes from the fact that we focus on content that is just before the sale. So it's Purch before purchase.
It's like a marketplace,
So, yeah.
not the idea of connecting consumers with.
It's a lot of content right before the decision,
the act
right?
of purchase.
Exactly. So we are probably the leader in that game, in those technologies, and so that's the first key point. And you can't be a publisher without that technology today. Because if you don't get it, you don't sell your advertising at the right price. That's the reason why all those publishers are in trouble right now, because it's a lot of investment.
You own publication and you work with other publishers at the same time.
Yeah, because we built a technology to optimize on the publishing side,
Yes.
right? That allow you to produce, a great quality of content, which is, absolutely key. A lot of people forgot that. But if you want to be a content group, you need to produce a super good content.
And what do you think is the evolution of that business?
Only the beginning of that super targeted advertising. This is what it is.
2017, you created RWest
Yeah.
in partnership with the Artemis Group. It's a venture fund based in Los Angeles and France. What's the idea behind the fund?
First of all, it starts with an experience, right? As I said, started Best of Media Group in France and in Europe and in the US, and we had, many steps and many ways to fail, and specifically in the US. In the US, in 3 years, we came from the top 40 in the US to the top 5 in 3 years. And the only non-US in top 20. In the middle of those 3 years, we had so many opportunities to fail. We did so many mistakes, which are always the same mistakes. Whoever is coming out of the US, trying to penetrate the US and be successful in the US, it's so different. And so we did it, we understood it, and we've been very lucky. We did probably a bit less mistakes than the others. So finally, the story is great. There's a missing piece into the way you need to fund those European, French or European company, those that deserve to penetrate the US market.
Trying to bring French startups and companies in the US, and as well companies from the US in Europe, or
no? This is something we learn in the US. You want to be successful. You need to be super focused. So the point is, there's only one thing. We're gonna invest in 8 to 10 locally super successful startups in France or Europe, and we're gonna help them to go global through the US.
what are the key ingredients that you're looking for in a French company to come in the US?
We look at companies that are ready for a fairly ambitious Series A, at least. So we don't invest less than 5 million, so it could be 5 to 10 to 15 million to step into the company. So that means that company needs to get to have the proof of an amazing traction. And a local traction. It could be more than that, but at least local. That company needs to do revenues with a pretty solid background. The KPIs needs to be super good, because out of the revenue, we need to understand how it's done. The entrepreneur, not everybody can go in the US, so the entrepreneur needs to be ready for that.
What do you think?
Because first of all, in our mind, as soon as you want to penetrate the US market, the founder needs to go in the US.
So you
That's
need to
part
be
of the
local
game.
here.
It needs to move. So it needs to be ready for that. And that doesn't mean that all company needs to move, not at all. As we all know, engineers in France are super good, cheaper, more loyal, and there's tons of reason to keep a strong organization in France, and so that we're strong believer into the game, but the founder needs to move. Also, even if you have a very, very successful company that is doing super well in France or in Europe, it doesn't mean it will be the case in the US. So you need to check why that company could achieve something big in the US, because if you want to go in the US, you need to play big. That's the point.
I think one of the mistakes of French entrepreneurs who come to the US is to not understand the size of the market and what it takes from a funding point of view to succeed.
Yeah, so then it's what you need to do in the US. But first of all, you need to make sure your company deserves to go global through the US, which is not always the case, and you can get beautiful, success through Europe. But if you deserve to do it, please don't do it in Europe. Do it first of all in the US, and then you can play the game of Europe too. But go right away to the main market, right? The second point, then you need to get the right funding, right? You can't play small in the US. That's not possible. So that's one of the key. And then you need to build the storytelling that goes with it. US is all about storytelling, right?
To go back on RWest,
Yeah.
you think that the fact that you have a French background and culture helps you bring those entrepreneurs that are European in a better way than US investors here in this market?
At least to penetrate the US market. So the point is, we're investing because we know you need to invest at scale, right? So we know we're going to bring the right funding to those companies, and we're ready to do the follow-ups to make sure, if they deserve to accelerate, they can accelerate fast. So definitely, Series B, Series C, if this is super successful, definitely we're going to partner with US investors. That makes tons of sense. This is important. You need them, into that US market. But that's it's more important in later stages. This is what we think.
You're an ambassador for the French tech in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. What do you think first of the tech ecosystem in France globally? How it changed in the last 5 years?
Definitely, this is one of the reasons we're playing that game of being building that fund, very specific fund, a venture fund, is because we've seen that ecosystem, skyrocketing recently, but specifically early stage. If you look 10 years ago, everything was all about Me Too's, right? Copycat. Now it's changing because the early stage investment has been super dynamic. And it's true for France, that is leading the pack, right, in Europe, definitely right now. But all Europe is doing fairly well. Not as good as France, but fairly well too. But what we think is that they really need help to get there, because you have amazing companies, amazing entrepreneurs, but sometimes it just fails because they don't get early enough the cultural gap. The cultural gap is so massive, it's too bad to see them, fail for just because you only have 1 or 2 years to make the proof that you can make it in the US. If you don't have that, the cost of being in the US is too high. So after spending 1, 2, 3 million, and you don't get results, everybody is going back home. Boom, that's it. And sometimes it's for wrong reasons. So it's too bad.
Going back to La French Tech,
yeah.
Can you explain us a little bit for people who don't really know what is the French Tech? What's the idea? How do you see the importance of the French Tech for French entrepreneurs globally?
Yeah, French entrepreneurs need to get the point that it's possible.
Many French entrepreneurs don't think it's possible, that they still...
maybe they think it's possible, but they're still afraid of it. And the more, but that's one thing. But the second is if you want to make it happen well, you need the right network. You need to be in touch with a lot of people that made it or that understand this, to this cultural gap at some point. So you need to get that feeling that you can touch whoever. There's an amazing number of people that are super successful out of France. So it's fantastic to feel that dynamic, and the fact that you can, be in touch with that French mafia, let's go that way, and that's super important. This is one of the best ways to penetrate the market. So that's the talking about the French Tech, giving that feeling that we just can do it, and you have a bunch of people you can reach out to. It's super important.
And locally in Los Angeles, since we're based in Los Angeles, how do you see this evolution of the French Tech?
Los Angeles is a very specific place to go right now. It was not the case. It was not the case for many years. But the point is, the Bay Area is becoming super crowded. It's super difficult to live there. The competition is super high. It's super expensive. So it's difficult. So it makes sense. The technology is going everywhere, in every industries and everywhere. So definitely tech is going to be out of the Bay Area, right, of the Silicon Valley. That makes sense. And because tech is going everywhere, I feel that there's no better place to be creative, because that's the DNA, that's with the media industry, that's the DNA of LA, and it's all about that now. It's all about being creative, it's all about design, we're getting there.
Content and technology.
So content is absolutely key. So this is something very structural, and it's getting trendy, right?
So the future is bright for the French Tech and for Los Angeles at the same time.
Absolutely.